Actor Jussie Smollett cleared of 16 charges by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. And, well, this took a lot of folks by surprise, including the mayor of Chicago. Let's bring in OAN legal analyst Bruce Fein. Bruce, Chicago's Mayor Rahm Emanuel says the prosecution dropping charges against Smollett is a, quote, whitewashing of the justice system. Smollett voluntarily forfeited his $10,000 bond, but in your experience, when someone forfeits thousands of dollars in bond, what does that tell you?
Well, we don't know, what the motivation was, what kind of representations the state's attorney made in order to have that forfeiture. But this is by no means ending the book on this case. First of all, under what we call as lawyers the double jeopardy clause, the federal government could prosecute the case because it seems that the channels of interstate commerce were used in executing this fraudulent hate crime, which would give jurisdiction to the U.S. attorney in Chicago to bring a suit irrespective of what the state attorney did. Secondly, the state attorney has no ability to bind any successor. Jeopardy did not attach in this case, and it's a technical term, means the stage of a prosecution where you couldn't try the case a second time. And jeopardy attaches when a jury is selected and sworn. That was never done in this case. So if there's a sufficient outrage and this prosecutor is ousted, a new prosecutor could come in, open the case again, and prosecute. So there's a lot to do other than just accepting what this prosecutor did unilaterally, and especially without any explanation as to the reasons why. It makes it even more puzzling and outrageous.
And the old cliche, Smollett is simply just not out of the woods just yet. But there are a lot of legal technicalities. The first state's attorney for Cook County dropped all 16 charges, but when asked today if Smollett was innocent, the prosecutor said plainly no. But he then reiterated all charges dropped against Smollett. So help our viewers, and I know that this might be hard, but help our viewers understand, make sense of that. In a legal world, that might make sense to be guilty, but have all of these charges dropped. How does that work?
Well, it falls under the rubric of prosecutorial discretion. Even if it's believed that a crime has been committed, there may be some kind of mitigating circumstances in the prosecutor's mind that says, well, it isn't worth pursuing because it's a unique case or there was hardship or duress or something of that sort. That seems, but ordinarily, those kinds of mitigating factors enter into the equation when you have a prosecution. If it succeeds, then you have pardons. That's what clemency boards are for. That's what governors do when it's thought that the law was too harsh in the circumstances. It's quite unusual for a prosecutor to say, we have a guilty person, I just don't feel like prosecuting. And I say that's one of the areas of the law that's most unpoliced. Right. Because you can't force a prosecutor to prosecute a case that they're resisting.
Well, you mentioned, Bruce, mitigating factors in this case. Kim Foxx, the Cook County State's attorney, who recused herself because of some conflicts of interest in relationship with the Smollett family and other factors there, of course, did not take part, I guess, in this letting up of charges. But the first attorney did in Cook County, first state's attorney. How do we know? Is it a mitigating factor possibly that, that Kim Foxx oversees this office? How do we know that that did not still play a part, this conflict of interest play a part in dropping these charges?
Well, the only way we can get at that issue is if there's oversight, and this is what the state legislature is empowered to do, to call the witnesses and asking, what went on here? And it would seem to me the case for demanding a full explanation of why is overwhelming. Again, it's all in a black box. So we're all guessing. You're guessing, I'm guessing, and facially it seems highly dubious. Again, the state attorney openly stating, we have a criminal here. On the one hand, it's kind of unjust because you've stigmatized somebody as being a criminal without giving him a trial, and then saying, but I'm not going to prosecute the case. That cries out, that irregularity is so acute, it cries out for further oversight.
All right, and final question here. From a legal standpoint, what precedent does this set in your mind?
Well, if this stops here, it's a terrible precedent. It means that the prosecutor basically can repeal the laws and simply make them dormant on a whim. And that would be a terrible thing. But I'm hopeful that this will not be the last chapter.
Right. And I think you're right, as you called it. It was your first point. He is not out of the woods just yet. OAN legal analyst Bruce Fein, thank you as always.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.